Wasn't meant to be in Portland.
Hasn't yet gone out, so I'm
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. So, for those who wanted to attend, see, this is how Bhagavan works. For those who wanted to attend but wondering how to, it came closer. For those who didn't want to attend and were feeling happy that, okay, it's so far, I'm not going, they have no choice. क्या बात है? This is Bhagavan.
So it is in
Huh?
So it is happening in
Yeah.
good.
Yes, in your house.
I have to invite you, you will see how small it is.
We'll call that trauma center and see if it's available those
Okay.
days. Then we can
do that.
try something there. Or we can have it here. We'll see. It's
The
still,
emails will go out.
yeah, still far away. So.
Out of town.
Yeah, it was somewhere in the middle of some place.
Gaston. And it was about, I think it was
Buddhist-
about 35 miles outside.
Some Buddhist retreat center.
Oh, it's very nice.
I'm sure it's delightful, but it's just not meant to be. Yeah.
So what happened?
It's just so many problems, the dates and the times and so many things, and people coming from out of town, and the cost of the tickets plus the lodging, boarding, it adds up. So many things. It just didn't come together. It was not one reason. It just didn't happen. The reason is not important. What is important is the outcome.
It's moved to Eugene. And we can say again, Himan's just come on.
Thanksgiving retreat has relocated to Eugene. So,
Hopefully they're here.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vaivasvataya Mrityave
Vaivasvataya Mrityave
Brahma Vidyacharyaya
Brahma Vidyacharya
Nachiketase cha
Nachiketase cha
2.1.12 and 2.1.13.
Oh.
2.1.12 and 13 introduce this very interesting and little bit funny concept of the thumb-sized Purusha. This always stands for Purusha, even in Chin Mudra. In Chin Mudra also, this is Jiva, one that points to everything and everybody as the source of its problem. And this Jiva is aligned with the body, the mind and the senses. These are the three fingers, are body, mind, senses, or past, future and the present, or what else, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, Sthula Sharira. You can take any, there are an abiding number of triads in Vedanta. You can choose anything, it doesn't matter. In whatever you choose, it's a mistake, because it's not aligned, the Jiva is not aligned with that. The Jiva is actually one with the Purusha. This is what. So this is always Purusha, because it's funny looking, it's small, and the thumb has a very interesting role of giving the satta, lending its presence and its strength to the hand without coming in the foreground and getting all the accolades. All the accolades these fingers get. You know, somebody playing the piano, these are the fingers that, you know, piano, harmonium, these are the fingers. Even sitar, these are the fingers. But how can, even in the sitar, you cannot play this without this holding the back. You know, you just see the four fingers or the three fingers playing the frets. You know, fret in the musical instruments, those play things are called frets. So you can see these fingers, but you don't see what is giving it the stability, which is in the back, literally, because it's able to grasp, these fingers are able to grasp and pull the chords and the strings and put make the right sound come out by putting that, you know, by placing the finger on that particular fret, because the other one is holding the place for these, you know, these fingers to play. And even here in the sitar, you hold that
Tumba.
yes,
Gold.
but what do you say?
Gold.
That is that it's got another name. It's made of a gold, but it's got another name. You
We call
hold.
it tumba.
Yeah, that's in Sanskrit, but in English that portion has another name. I'm not remembering that. So then, you know, you rest the thumb against that in order to, you know, pull the strings. In order to tweak the strings, you rest the, you know, so the thumb is everything. So therefore, metaphorically, because the thumb is so exalted, they have made it into Purusha, because, you know, the rishis are, you know, they don't waste their time. Everywhere they see certain patterns. Everywhere they see, you know, they are seers. They see mantras and they see these kinds of patterns and they see that this is just like the Purusha. They are poetic, they are like kavis, they are rishis, and so they see that this is just like the Purusha. And so here the rishi is channeling this, and the very ancient teaching of this being equated to Purusha. So Angushta Matra. Matra means here in measure. No bigger than the thumb is the Purusha. Question is, which Purusha? How many Purushas are there? Huh? One. Okay, but for our discussion, how many Purushas have we discussed?
Infinite.
Two Purushas we have discussed. So the first Purusha and the second Purusha. So let's hear the definitions. Who is the first Purusha?
That is seated in the 9 gates.
City, trapped in the citadel of the 9-gated, you know, what is that? Fortress. Fortress if it's a woman's body, fort if it's a man's body. That's all you can say. So trapped in the fort / rest, fortress. This, you know, this Purusha. And then, so how do you say it in sleeping in the city? Puri shete, living in the city. Purau ushyati, lives in the city. Of course, if you live in the city, you sleep in the city also. And why this sleeping metaphor? Because the person is full of tamas. Sleeping, the akala nidra, akala ajnana nidra suptaha purusha. You know, sleeping an infinite sleep of ignorance. Oh, at least it is infinite. Nothing to get excited about. So this is the first Purusha. Who is the second Purusha? Huh? Purayati Sarvan, fills up everything as it were without any trace, like even the water rushes to fill up all the holes, you know, when it flows. You know, it doesn't say, oh, I don't like this, I'm going to bypass this, why I only have to fill up. It doesn't have, its nature is to accommodate, correct? And so here, the thumb-sized Purusha, Angushtamatra Purusha, you know, it's like there was one thing, you know, I think in some science fiction, children's thing, there's some kind of a gun, and if you, a laser gun, and if you directed it against anything, that thing would shrink. That thing would become Very small, some sci-fi story, correct? And so here, as though you take Mahapurusha, the whole thing, and you have a little shrinking gun and you reduce it to thumb size. No, that's not the idea. You know? So it's this shrunken Purusha. But then which Purusha is this? Is it the complaining Purusha who is sleeping and complaining? Only two things the fellow does. Sleeps and complains. And sometimes does two at the same time. Huh? Because sleeping the sleep of ignorance, complains all the time. Does both at the same time. Manages. So now what? Now this is the thing. So which Purusha is to be visualized as a thumb-sized Purusha? Is it the complaining / sleeping one, or is it the big one that has to be shrunken to the thumb size? It is the latter. Why is it the latter? Because some way to connect, because this is the sad, mad, bad jiva we are talking about, and the Upanishad comes with many upayas, remedial measures, remedies to bridge this whole, incomprehension of one's own nature, to bridge, to make a bridge from this incomprehension to a assimilated understanding of what one's own glory is. But why should the Purusha be reduced to thumb size? Because it will not fit in this body. Because you see, one has a 2D, two-dimensional thing, height, weight, maybe 3D even, but it's very small. And if I am to see Bhagavan, you cannot sort of say that whole cosmic everything, the one who is the father and the mother of the Jagat. In fact, Jagat is inside Bhagavan. Bhagavan is not in the Jagat. Is Bhagavan in the Jagat? Is Bhagavan outside the Jagat? Is Jagat inside Bhagavan, outside Bhagavan? This itself we can talk for a long time. Like saying is space in the pot or pot in space. Like this, you can become very Zen-like. With all these things, it will lead you nowhere. So then, when you think of, and yesterday we saw in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, what did we see? Pariveshtitaram, the one who is a big sari for the Jagat. It wraps around the Jagat, this consciousness. So this consciousness, please locate in the heart. How? We have to start, So you have to have a small laser gun and shrink this Purusha to accommodate inside the heart. You kind of make it, like you have a little clay and you. At this ashram where I went, they gave clay to everyone on Ganesh Chaturthi. And they said, make your own Ganesha. Very nice. We should do that sometime here. It was very nice, yes. And people painted, people did all kinds of things, and people dressed, and they were very nice because they also gave, along with the clay, a small piece of cloth that you could cut and dress him with. So, like this, make your own Ganesha. This is what the whole thing. So, like this, here the whole point is to connect with the truth of who I am. So when you make this Ganesha, obviously this Ganesha is just a mini version of what Ganesha stands for. Correct? Ganesha is the Vigna Harta, Vigna Karaka, Vigna Harta, Vigna Karta, both. The one who gives you your karma, karma phala data for all the ganas, all the jiva ganas, deva ganas. So the one who is the Lord of all the ganas. Ganas means various divisions of jivas called ganas. Celestial ganas, creepy crawly ganas, flying ganas, walking ganas, biped ganas, quadruped ganas. All these ganas, the Lord, the one who is responsible for their karmic trajectories. So all the obstacles that come are my own karma, and the one who puts these obstacles, as it were, also removes them. That vast knowledge of everyone's karma, here I am modeling in a little piece of clay, In this small piece of clay, I am making it. Similarly, without the clay, I just have an idea of this Purusha which fills up everything, seated in the heart. Very nice. Seated in the heart. So I invoke. So this is an internal invocation. Usually we say avahito bhava, abahito bhava, sthapito bhava, avakuntito bhava. There are all these mudras to show Bhagavan, please come, have a seat. Avakuntito bhava means, I put velcro underneath you so that you don't you don't leave until the puja is finished. Be established here in your seat. Don't wriggle and try to leave. So with my bhakti, I seal you. I put some glue on the seat. And the glue is my devotion, so that you just sit there and receive my prayer. This we do outside with Ganesha, with anything. And, of course, nothing this is what is called adhyasa. This is a deliberate adhyasa. Yeah. Nikrishta vastuni, utkrishta vastu, adhyasya pujayet. That is actually an aphorism that says that. Kind of a advice. And what is that? Nikrishta vastu means in a lower thing. Lower thing. And of course, anything is lower compared to Bhagavan. You don't have to search what is lower. Everything is lower because Bhagavan is everything. And any one thing, is Bhagavan, but Bhagavan is not any one thing because it's that formless, limitless consciousness which has as though entered each and everything. So while we can say each and everything is not separate from Bhagavan, that consciousness is not any one thing. This is what this is what makes it very difficult to invite this consciousness to abide in any one thing. So therefore, there is a certain deliberate superimposition, adhyasa, to make this possible. Nikrishta vastu. Nikrishta means what? Lower, non-exalted, mundane, Nikrishta. And, why is it called Nikrishta? It's called Nikrishta because it is nothing can, even though Bhagavan is, there is nothing that can exist without the presence of Bhagavan. Each thing is, is not really, Bhagavan is not any one thing. So you can say everything, you can see Bhagavan in everything, but Bhagavan is not that thing. That we have to understand. That's why the things become Nikrishta, time bound, finite. So in the time bound, in the lower thing, Utkrishta vastu, Utkrishta. Any time the what is that? Upasarga. What is Upasarga? Prefix. Prefix Ut comes. Ut means what? Lifting up. Utharet, Uddharet, lift up. Yeah. Utkrishtam. Utkrishtam means the exalted. So the exalted thing, the only thing worth being called a thing, is superimposed upon the lower entity, the non-exalted, time-bound entity by itself. It is time-bound and whatnot. But I transcend that entity to see that which is exalted. So in the beginning, I don't have that awareness. I don't have that knowledge to do that. I don't even have the bhakti. Why am I praying to a stone? People ask this. Stone is not Bhagavan. But Bhagavan, is stone. Nobody worships a stone. Stone by itself is not Bhagavan. But in that stone, I invoke Bhagavan. Who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan who is everything. I invoke in a small little Shivalinga and say, Rudraya Namaha, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. This is a big thing, correct? Saligrame Vishnum Dhyayet, same thing. Saligrama, this is actually very interesting. Saligrama are these fossils available in the Himalayas. Fossils of what? Shells, how did the shells get into the Himalayas? How?
They were on the bottom of the ocean first, and then it was like,
Yeah, all the tectonic plates shifting, and they say that the whole Indian subcontinent, along with the Tibet and all those areas now, was part of Africa. And it broke off, like a wafer, and wafted into the ocean. And then finally, when it collided with Siberia and those areas, then the mountains came up. So the oceans became mountains. There's actually a very nice connection between oceans and mountains. In the olden times, in Mahabharata, it says that the mountains knew how to fly. So they flew. And then something happened. I don't remember the whole story. Their wings were cut off. And two mountains with their wings intact prayed to ocean and said, please take us in, because we don't want to lose our wings. We will hide in you, and when it is time, we will come out of the ocean and fly again. That's a prophecy. So I don't know if it will happen in our lifetimes, but if it does, you can think of this story. So the mountains have all these fossils of beaches past. Yes, they have fossils of, the chakra. There are two kinds of shells. One is that regular shell, the conch shell, and the other one is this kind of a spiral shell. And so on the surface it will look like just a regular rock, and you break it open and then you see, oh, and Shankha and Chakra immediately remind one of Vishnu. Finished, nothing more is needed. And in this miserable stone you say Mahavishnum Avahayami. This is what the thing is. So externally we are used to doing this. This is what the Hindu tradition is about. It's the most exciting aspect of the tradition and the most sophisticated way to understand and invoke Bhagavan, and it's also the most frustrating for people who don't understand this, all at the same time. But for us it's very exciting, extremely sukshma, subtle and sophisticated. And so here, one is asked to do the same thing that one did to this saligrama, this stone with these fossils inside, where instead of the fossil you see Vishnu in place of the fossil. Here, in place of this fossil, you see Purusha. Inside this fossil, this dilapidating body mind sense complex, you invoke the Purusha. And of course, you can't invoke the Purusha beyond the size of this, because that is the whole point of using one's own body as a vehicle for Bhagavan. So, but then, why does the Upanishad insist on the thumb size rather than 5 foot 4 inches? Please visualize the Purusha according to your own height, volume, mass and weight. Why doesn't it say that? Why? Because you see, we don't need the whole body length, breadth. You don't have to measure, okay, my Purusha is this much and this much. You don't have to have a measuring tape. Because the whole body really is inert. Correct? What makes the body alive? You can say prana. Then what makes the prana? What is that makes the prana also go? And prana is recognized how? Same place how everything is recognized. In the heart, in the mind. In fact, in the ancient wisdom, mind and the heart are not two separate things. This is our own Western contribution where we have separated the two. Mind is heart. Heart is a faculty which has both cognitive and emotive aspects. Chittam is there and the buddhi is there, and the ahankara, the one that owns up These are my emotions, this is my buddhi, this is, that is also there. And then the one who has difficulty deciding who am I, that is also there. Who is that? Manaha. So, mano, buddhi, ahankara, chittam. This is what is the sum total of what is called mind, which in fact, we locate in the heart region. Because if you say, who did this? Person will say, me. You don't say me. You don't say me. This is me, not me. So, you don't say, you don't say me. This is a universal thing that transcends language. Everywhere they'll say me. You go to Ukraine, they will say, even though the country starts with the word you, it's still they say me. Yeah, still they will say me. And this is, and then when you point out to someone else, you also point to their heart region. You don't say you. You don't say you. You don't say you. No, you point to their heart region and you locate yourself here. This is an ancient, timeless, universal, transcending language. What's that? A non-lingual way of identification. So who is that? That is located before this Purusha business comes into the picture. Who is that is being patted here? I did this. I am the best. And even Tarzan does this. Yeah, Tarzan doesn't go like this. Tarzan goes like this. So who is the one that is being appreciated? Who is the one that's repeatedly being invoked each time I pat my chest? Who? I notion. Before Purusha. Don't bring in Purusha yet. This is the average person without any knowledge of anything. Tarzan doesn't think, oh, Purusha in the heart. No. I notion that Ahankara is seated here. Correct? Yeah. Ahankara, the truth of Ahankara is what? Purusha. But does the Ahankara know this? No. Why? It is sleeping to the glory of its own self. We already saw that. So it also identifies itself as Purusha, but the Purusha that is sleeping in the citadel, that is what the Ahankara is. So here slowly the Ahankara is told to make way for this thumb-sized Purusha. Deliberately thumb-sized, small, ubiquitous, not going to make a lot of noise. Because if you said, if the Upanishad said 5 foot 10 inch Purusha, oh, I don't think so. I mean, it's going to just invade me. It's going to replace me. It's going to displace me. Thumb-sized, okay, oh, that's cute. I can entertain it. I am the one who is inviting this Purusha in. Ajao, come, sit down, bed jao, And so it is safe. Yeah. It is, for the time being, safe. It feels safe. Because what can a small thumb-sized Bhagavan, what mischief can that Bhagavan do? Nothing. So instead of invoking, and in fact we say that all the murtis worshipped at home, unless you're having a temple, should be thumb-sized. Yeah. Should be just thumb-sized or this size. When you hold your hand like this, fist-sized. Otherwise, big murtis if you have, that means the whole day you will be doing abhisheka and cooking for them. Along with yourself, you have to feed them. Yeah. Bills go up. Yeah. So then, and then you have to have drainage, they have to have their own plumbing, all these things. So therefore it is said that all the murtis you have for home worship, because abhisheka you can take a thimble full of water and thimble full of milk and finish off. Khatam. So that same thing we are already used. We have a whole Bhagavan's room, in puja room is full of thumb-sized small Purushas outside. Anyone you pick up and invoke with him. Very simple. Angushthamatraf Purushaha. And here it doesn't say please invoke. It says Madhye Atmani Tishtati. Whether you invoke or not, whether you like what is being said here or not, it is already seated in the heart. Oh, why did you tell this before? Because so that there is a certain semblance of a, what is that kind of a free will here. This is also doubles up as an upasana. Upasana needs free will to do it. Correct? Otherwise, you won't do it. So this is a meditation actually. And what is the meditation? Ajao, baith jao, come. You invite this thumb-sized Purusha to occupy what? The right chest cavity. Not the left. Why not? Why not the left? Heart is already there. Again the heart will start to flutter. Where will I go? Will it cause some kind of an infraction? And will it cause a missed beat, this Purusha coming and sitting? So therefore the right chest cavity, unless there are anatomical challenges and the heart is gone there, sometimes it happens. In that case, you use the cavity which is not occupied by an organ. So the right chest cavity is the place to visualize this baby Purusha, baby-sized Purusha. We say invite so that the jiva becomes a little more amenable. In fact, the Purusha is already there, does not need any invitation. Invite in the sense of invoke. Yeah. And this Purusha is seen as the one who is in charge of all the anatomical processes and functions. This becomes a very nice meditation. We'll do it sometime, not today. So, maybe next time we'll do this. Today you just understand the parameters of this. So, supposing you are breathing. You're breathing, and when you're breathing and you're already aware of the Purusha here, and then you say that, who is the one breathing? I am breathing. Who is this I? Without whom the breath cannot be taken in and exhaled. Purusha. And then you keep the awareness on the heart area, and each time you say, this is the one who is in charge of all the actions, breathing. And then you listen to your own heartbeat. It is possible sometimes. You can just, if you put your hand there, it will, hopefully make some noise. And then you say, what is this heart? How is it beating? And the blood, if you go like this little bit, you can feel the blood coursing through the veins, arteries. And then you can again say that it is the Purusha that is sending the blood out, and it is Purusha that is drawing all the blood back in. It is the Purusha that is purifying it and circulating. Purusha as Vyana, circulation. You can invoke all the pranas in the Purusha itself. Digestion, elimination, circulation. The one that is also ticking the life, Purusha. And who is the one who is doing this meditation? That is also Purusha. So like this, you keep seeing this. And then after a while you open your eyes and continue with this Purusha sitting here. Is seated in the CEO chair of all actions, first pertaining to the body, mind, sense complex. And then you see, okay, I'm seeing, the eyes are, who is seeing? Purusha is seeing. So then you say, all activities pertaining to the within that are happening, all the processes, physiological, anatomical processes, and then you extend that to during the day, to all the interactions you are having with each and every person. All the interactions. Who is interacting? Purusha is interacting. Who is the one who is receiving? Purusha is receiving. Who is giving? Purusha, Angushtamatra Purusha, sitting in the right heart, chest cavity, is receiving. This Purusha is the giver, receiver. So this is the not me, not me, not me approach. The me, who is the me? The Ahankara that was bigger than the Purusha. The Ahankara is as big as the body, mind, sense complex. It pervades the whole thing. And this Ahankara has now made way for Purusha. So it's a substitution. And the substitution works because Ahankara really is Purusha. Yeah. Purusha is not Ahankara. You see? So the substitution works. So slowly what is being substituted? Purusha 1 for Purusha 2. See this. How beautiful. The sleeping in the city, or the sleep of ignorance in the fortress is substituted for that Purusha which accommodates everything. Even though the fellow is so small, accommodates the whole thing. This is how the meditation goes. And the beauty of this meditation is that it starts off with closing the eyes, because that's how to start. And then slowly you open the eyes and continue that awareness the rest of the day. It's amazing. You'll see a big change, a qualitative change in all your transactions, in all your perception of yourself. And the same meditation with a slight difference is done in the Purusha sitting behind the left eye. Dakshinakshi Purusha. Here right chest cavity and there left eye. Behind the eye. You can imagine even smaller Purusha. You can't imagine the thumb behind the eye, otherwise you will feel like the eye is popping out. Pop eye. So, you know, so you don't even, so it's a tiny Purusha behind the left eye, and that is the one who is seeing everything. And this meditation you start off with kind of not closing the eyes fully, just seeing everything. And then, you know, sometimes I've seen people do this meditation, one eye opens slightly and the Purusha is seeing everything. Purusha is taking in all the sights, all the sounds, everything, and the Purusha is behind the eye. And the eye, of course, being predominant in all transaction, is very difficult to ignore. Very beautiful. Yeah. Same thing. That is in some other Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka, I think. And here we have these two verses talking about, like I said, they are both upasana as well as the knowledge. And upasana because one is not there yet, and this is one way of not, of not identifying constantly with the ahankara and identifying with the Purusha. It's one way of relocating the eye to where it really belongs. So this is the sadhana to understand this. It is more of, it's kind of a nididhyasana, you can say, for the ones who are already understanding, and it is also a meditation for those who want to get that nice chalyam to understand. So then it says madhye atmani, in the center of the heart. Atma here is not Atma. Atma means center of the heart. Tishtati means is, is there in the, abides in the body of this person, and then what? Who is this? Ishanah. Ishanam or Ishano. Ishanah or Ishanam, both are okay. Ishanah Bhuta Bhavyasya. Ishanah. And Bhuta Bhavya, Bhuta means what? Past. Bhavya means future. Also the, because this is what the whole thing is. Because the heart is a place where the regrets of the past and the disappointments, fears, anxieties that may be connected to the future are stored. The heart is the place of regret, anticipation, both. And if you leave this regular fellow, who is the regular fellow? Ahankara, to be the master of the, seated in that place, it will wreak havoc, correct? Yeah. Half the day it will feel guilty, but the other half it will feel anxious about the future. So between anxiety and guilt, it will spend the whole day. Why whole day, whole life? It will spend between anxiety and guilt. Oh my God, what's going to happen? I have money, but is it enough? I have enough money, but will I have love? I have enough love, but will I have money? I have enough money and love, but no health to enjoy it. How will I die? People think non-stop about this. Will I go under a car? Or will I die in the bed? What disease will I get? Will it be cancer, horrible, horrible death? Or will it be sudden? Suddenly I don't wake up. That's good if it is sudden. But then I will not have any intimation to wind up my affairs. Yeah. So should I live a living will? So do not resuscitate. But then what if I could be resuscitated and they don't resuscitate? Already the relatives are like this. They are after my money. They are waiting to not resuscitate. Yeah. They are the only thing they are interested in resuscitating is my property onto their name. That's all they want, to just resuscitate. This is how people, as they grow older, this is where this thing is. Oh, today this hand is not functioning. What happened? Something is not working. And the feeling is, if one day some back hurts, then immediately the person thinks this is how it's going to be the rest of the life. I don't know how, I don't know why. There's nothing more changing than the body. And in fact, there is one more thing, which is the mind, more changing than the body. But both these things, and little sadness comes, I'm like this for the rest of my life. This is how I'll feel. This is kshanika, this is just tiny. And then same thing with the body. The body keeps changing. Any kind of a doctor will tell you that. The cells keep dying. In fact, in the time that you have sat here, millions of cells have died off. Oh, what a horrible thought. That's only part of the story. Millions of cells are also being born. Yeah, thousands of cells are dropping off. Thousands of, cells starting with the skin are just dying and sloughing off. Yeah. And then, they showed one microscopic photo of the skin. Oh my God. You don't think that there is so much skin shedding, Here you get angry at the dog and cat because you only think they are shedding. In fact, you are shedding more than them. Yeah. So, this is all, this is what the whole point is, that everything is changing. And I catch hold of this body, this ahankara, if it is seated in the heart instead of purusha, we have to know the opposite side too. Because it has said, Ishano bhuta bhavyasya. Bhutasya ishanah bhavyasya api ishanah. The master of time. Who is the master of time? The one who is timeless. I will come to that. But for now, just say the one who doesn't regret the past and dread the future. That is the one we are talking about. So if that is not seated, if that entity, if that vastu is not seated in my heart, who is seated in the heart? This finite fellow who is infinitely worried about itself. That is the thing. And so this fellow is subject to all kinds of regrets and gory anticipation of all things that are yet to happen. And this is the one who is not the Isha of time. Who is this one? Comes under the spate, under the spell of time repeatedly. Why? By identifying itself as finite, goes under the spell of time. And so makes the person run around in circles. That's how people are. One small backache, they say, oh, now the back is also starting to go along with the front. Front has already gone. Now the back is going. Only the sides remain. You know. So this is how people think. This is how people worry. Oh, now this is also not. But we don't understand. It is changeless. I mean, it is changing all the time. It could be that it comes back. It could be that it needs rest. Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that rest. Oh, okay. And then the next day I feel a lot better. Oh, thank God. This is how it is. Same thing with the mind. Same thing with the senses. There is a certain penchant for looking for the permanent in impermanent things and also feeling permanently doomed when the impermanent does what it knows how to do best, be impermanent. Yeah. So when the impermanent starts to slough off, fall off, drop off, then the one who is identified with the impermanent, hoping and wishing against wish, against in the face of all reality, that the impermanent actually can be made permanent, is the one who is always left crying, left high and dry. This is not the Isha. Isha is the one who is the other one. Free of time. Why free of time?
Limits.
Because time itself, the architect of time. Time has come from whom? Space has come from whom? Time is a concept. One who is free of time. Time is relative to one who is absolute. There is a saying, Kalo Jagad Bhakshakaha. The person who is the entity known as time swallows up the Jagat. But this Isha is what? Kala Bhakshakaha, the one who eats up time. That's what it is. And this was described earlier. Yasya brahma cha kshatram cha ubhe bhavatah odanaha mrityuhu upasechanam yasya kaitha veda yatra saha. So this person is eating. What are they eating? They are eating, they are having a meal, making a short shrift of all the divisions in society. That is the main dish. Brahmana and Kshatriyas are the main dish. They are not cannibalistic. This Brahmana and Kshatriya stand for the various divisions and hierarchies in the society. So all categories they are swallowing. And for the one for whom the categories are the main dish. Then what is the pickle? The side dish, mrityuhu, death, time. That is like a little, seasoning. That's all it is. The side dish, a little seasoning is what this death is, meaning the timeless Isha. And who is this Isha? The one who knows timelessness also becomes Isha, becomes again within quotes, also is identified as Isha. So this Ishanaha, Bhuta Bhavyasya, the one who is the Lord of time, the timeless Lord, sitting in a small way, like a little thumb-sized Purusha in the middle of the heart. How nice, no? Yeah. And then knowing this, na tataha vijugupsate. Go 5 verses back. Go to number 5. 5 or 6 verses back. Yaimam madhvadam veda atmanam jivamantika. Same thing. Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya natato vijugupsate. Same last line. So in a way it is a chorus But it was already said in verse number 5. Why is it said again? Who remembered that it was in verse number 5? Who remembered? You know? So that's what the whole thing, the ruler of the 3 periods of time. Tataha, knowing whom, jnatva na vijugupsate. Jigupsa. Gup, to protect. Jugupsa means gopaitum ichha. Yeah. Gopaitum ichha. Jugupsa. Meaning the desire to protect is called jugupsa. There is no jugupsa. Vi is another just a prefix. Vijigupsa. Vijugupsa. There is no jugupsa. There is no desire to protect the self from time, to protect the self from other horrible, frightening things. Why? Because there is nothing other than I. Yeah. There is nothing other than myself. So there is no more desire to protect anything. Etat, vaitat. We've seen that in great detail. So you can listen to that lecture if you want more of a commentary on this. Next time we will see, we will try to do this meditation and then go forward with the next one, which is also a very beautiful mantra. Next class will meet on 24th of September, something like that. Yeah. So that is what end of the thing. The schedule is ready. I will send the schedule. You will get it. We will also post it here, the PDF in the current class text, and so you can download that for yourself. So you will have the fall schedule. Okay. All right. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
They were telling a lot of answers tonight over here, Swami.
They were telling what?
A lot of answers tonight.
Oh,
But because there's a delay, the answers were coming in after Swamiji.
I see. So what is this now?